Have you ever skipped meals all day just to binge at the end of the day in a calorie-dense haze? Even if you don't eat an enormous amount of food at dinner time, packing most or all of your calories into the latter part of the day is actually not good for your health. Stay tuned to find out why. All right, let's talk about meal timing. When it comes to weight management, many people out there like to push this idea of calories in, calories out. If you haven't come across it yet, it's basically a succinct way of saying that if you want to lose weight or you want to maintain a healthy weight, all you need to worry about is not consuming more calories than you burn. Now, to a certain extent, this idea is true, but it doesn't tell you the whole story. Think about this. Have you ever been in a situation where you and someone else that you know ate the same foods day in, day out, yet one of you was much thinner than the other? Examples like this from real life tell us that the way that our bodies handle calories and burn energy is not a static physiological feature. I'll talk more about calories in, calories out in a different video, but for now, keep that in mind as we talk about the main focus of today's video, which is meal timing. Research shows that our bodies digest food and store energy in a manner that is dependent on the time of day. On St. Croix, where I'm from, lunch and dinner were typically the heaviest meals of the day. Depending on where you grew up, you may be used to all 3 meals of the day being heavy, or breakfast being heavier than the latter 2, or any variation in between. Research on meal timing shows that when people have their heaviest meal of the day after 3 p.m., these people are more likely to have trouble maintaining a healthy weight. Even when researchers match people for things like age, calorie intake, appetite hormone levels, sleep, and energy expenditure, the people who ate more of their calories later in the day were heavier than people in the comparison group. Take a look at this graph. What you are seeing is 2 treatment groups. Those who had their heaviest meal of the day before 3 p.m., the early eaters, denoted by the hollow circles, and those who had their heaviest meal after 3 p.m., or the late eaters, denoted by the black circles. This study included 420 middle-aged men and women who voluntarily took part in a weight loss program for 20 weeks. The researchers found that even though they were eating a similar number of calories, the amount of weight loss between groups differed by several pounds in favor of the early eaters. Other studies on this topic have come to the same conclusion. Eating later in the day has also been tied to a decreased resting energy expenditure, aka your metabolic rate, the amount of energy that you have to burn just to keep yourself alive, and decreased glucose tolerance, which can be an early warning sign for type 2 diabetes. But wait, it gets more interesting. When you have your meals also impacts the bacteria that live in your mouth. The gut microbiome is all the rage in nutrition research, but remember that your microbiome is not just in your gut. You have a microbiome on your skin, in your reproductive organs, and yes, also in your mouth. These bacteria respond not just to what we feed them, but also the time of day when we feed them. Eating later in the day can increase the number of pro-inflammatory bacteria, and this can have a negative effect on your metabolism and your weight. Keep in mind that this is without overeating or eating junk food. We're just talking about the timing of your normal meals. Even when keeping calorie intake within the healthy range, the bacteria in your mouth can shift from being friendly to unfriendly when you have your heaviest meal later in the day. Interestingly, the bacteria and other microbes that live in our mouth can have an effect not just on our oral health, but also on our health at the other end of the gastric tube. The presence of certain pro-inflammatory bacteria in the mouth has been tied to inflammatory bowel disease and Crohn's disease. Now, this is not meant to scare you. The point I want to drive home is that the oral microbiome is important not just for the health of your mouth, but for other parts of your body too. So if you're in the habit of skipping breakfast and making up for it at lunch and dinner, you may be setting yourself up for negative health consequences later on in life, that is, if they haven't already started to happen. But why is that? This may be a side effect of our bodies having a natural endogenous circadian system or biological clock. Way before artificial lighting was a thing, we would rise from bed with the sun and end our day more or less when there was no more sunlight. In the modern day, we can work and play at any time of the day, and all of this flexibility and convenience may be coming at a cost. This internal clock can impact the way that our bodies use glucose throughout the day. Glucose metabolism follows a pattern which favors eating earlier in the day. When we have heavier meals later on in the day, our bodies are just not able to break them down as effectively. And this can contribute to hyperglycemia and ultimately the development of diabetes. This effect may be worsened by the presence of melatonin, our sleep hormone, which is naturally higher at nighttime. Another reason why having your heaviest meal later in the day can have negative health consequences is because your resting energy expenditure and the amount of energy that your body burns to break down food is highest during the day. In essence, our bodies follow cycles and they function best when we adhere to them. If you want to learn more about the research that has been done on this, I will be including all of the references down below. Alright, so that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you learned anything new or think that someone you care about could benefit from this information, feel free to share the video, give it a like, and subscribe to my channel for more nutrition information. For more day-to-day type inspiration for healthy living, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Pinterest, or my blog at yellowcedarnutrition.com. If you're interested in working one-on-one with me, you can reach out to me on my website or through any of my socials. All right, take care.